Hey friends! In preparation of making a new reading journal, I thought I would flip through my old reading journal and kind of just discuss what worked and what didn't. This is just one of those jot notepads that you can find basically anywhere. I did get this one from a infertility conference that we went to in 2017. They had a little goodie bag and they had a couple notebooks in there, so that's where I got this one. So yeah, oops, there's the front page. So when I started this, I guess in 2020, I was doing birthday goals. I didn't do a birthday goal last year and I don't know if I will this year, but I digress. I was doing them at the time. So I have them coordinated this way by the washi tape, which I really like that feature where it's organized by washi tape instead of like a number or the word or something, you know. So I just scribbled together a cover page. And then birthday goals. This is my birthday goals tab. And then, so I was doing like 30 goals when I turned, or for the year I was 30, and then 31 goals for the year I was 31, and so on and so forth. I believe 33 was my last one. Yeah, I didn't do one for 34. I had already prepared in advance a few of them, but I had stopped doing that. So this was also a list of goal ideas that I just would slowly accumulate some ideas. That way when it came time to fill out my, oh, that came loose, my list for the year, if I was stumped on something, I could go back and see, oh, that's a good idea, I'll do that, you know? So I had a few pages at the back of this section for goal ideas. Then we have, okay, this is how I have been, I guess, tracking my reading since 2018. Okay, wonder why the date discrepancy is there. So I was using this in 2018. I thought it was sooner than 2020. I'm not sure. Maybe I just made this cover page in 2020. I don't really understand. Anyway, this is my guide that I later decided I didn't want to keep flipping, so I ended up making a bookmark with the guide. So I have been color coding each book I read according to the genre. And that does come in handy. It's not a perfect system because some books fit into like 6 different genres. So I was just taking the most prominent 2 genres, and like you can see here I have the blue for middle grade, but it was also a classic, so I did the neon green for the author name. That way it represents both colors. And like this Agatha Christie one as well. It's both a mystery and a classic. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And yeah, like I said, it's not a perfect system, but it has been working up to this point. Another thing is I will put a cross with any book that is a Christian book. Now, of course, we all know that books can't be Christian because being a Christian is a soul that's saved, right? A book is not a soul. But I think everyone in the book community understands that this just means written by a Christian author, represents Christian themes, things like that. So anyway, carrying on. At the end of the year, I like to make this stats flap. So I will write down some of my favorites. Actually, I think I was doing my favorites in each genre. That's what it was. So color coding again, my favorite fantasy, my favorite historical. Apparently I didn't have any that year. My favorite sci-fi, you know, and it goes on. And then I flip the flap and I've got my number stats. So like I read 5 historical. Apparently I didn't have a favorite. I read 5 historical, which was 7% of my total yearly reading. So I kind of worked it that way. And I never really share my stats on BookTube here because I don't really watch other people's book stats. So I feel like, I don't know. Are you guys interested in like numbers? I'm not, but if you're interested in numbers, I can always add that to my like list of things to do. Now also, I do keep a flap here at the beginning of each year for my DNFs. So as I'm going, when I DNF something, I'll just write it in here. Nothing color-coded or anything, no reasons why I DNF'd it, just to kind of keep track, because I like to see like the total number at the end of the year, how many I DNF'd. That's my most reliable way of tracking my DNFs, because I don't really have a proper way of doing it on Goodreads. Like I do have a DNF shelf, but it's hard to figure out in which year I DNF'd it, because it can kind of get confused with the year that you put it on a TBR shelf. I don't know. It's a bit confusing, but so yeah, this is basically how I've been tracking stuff. The last couple of years I have been going back and counting each month. That way at the end of the year, it's a bit easier to add up the number for the year. So this is my 2022 reading journal section. I did have a few pens that died on me, so I've been kind of trying to find ones that would work. Ah yes, and behind here I calculated 196, but Goodreads had 206. So I wasn't really sure where that discrepancy was, so I would just average it to a 200 because it seems like an average. And again, my DNFs. This was actually the first time, you probably can't see, but there is a little check mark beside 2 of these DNFs, which means those are 2 books that I DNF'd that I later went back to and finished. So here's my stats for the year. And then just some YouTube notes. So that's what, if we go back to our first page, our cover page, brain dump or ideas. Now that is YouTube video ideas. So I have a lot, and this is also like where I organize stuff. Like when I have a video that requires some organization, then I use these pages to like figure things out. So this is kind of what my reading journal has looked like. I'm trying to figure out a new way of journaling. I binge watched so many reading journals on YouTube here. I got a lot of ideas. I'm not really sure what I will be able to keep up with, because this is a fairly, as you can imagine, this is a fairly simple way of tracking my books. Like, it's not decorative, it doesn't take a lot of time. You know, I'm not tracking anything per se. I just, at the end of the year, I watch my wrap-up video and I document that month's reading. At the end here, I was starting to put a C for classic, because like I said, there was just too many genres sometimes. But anyway, yeah, I have watched quite a lot of reading journal videos, and so I did pick this guy up. He was just from the dollar store. He was $4. I don't like that now that dollar stores barely have anything that is $1. But anyway, this was $4. I did pick it up because the cover was nice, but I might actually end up changing the cover because it's not a sketchbook. So yeah, it's just blank inside. I didn't want a lined notebook this time. I wanted to try something different because I want to track my books differently, so it's not necessarily going to be in list format like this, I think. And if it is, I can just make some lines with a ruler. Anyway, I also wanted thicker paper, and this is, I mean, it's dollar store, right? So it's not super high quality paper, but it might work for what I want it to do. Now, I did painstakingly take numerous hours, guys. I had no idea how long this would take, but to make up a little booklet of kind of the template of what I want it to look like. And I think this is going to be super helpful because I first, when I was watching all of those reading journal videos, I would write down all the ideas that people were having, all the page spreads, different ways that they would decorate it, things like that. So I had a huge list that I kind of picked which ones I liked, and then just kind of made a little mini book here that I can reference as I am putting together this book. Now, the decorating part is where I'm a bit stumped. I had first thought that I would get one of those pads of craft paper, like with patterns and prints and stuff, and use that as a guide, a color guide, so that it all kind of works cohesively. I went to Michael's and I didn't find any that I liked. So then I was like, well, what if I do something collage based? Because I think that would be really unique, something that I haven't seen anyone do. And I really am enjoying collaging. So I think I'm going to exercise that idea. I do want to use, well, see, I've been looking through a bunch of my materials for collaging, and I'm a little stuck here as well as to like which way to approach it. I thought I have a few of these Arabella books, and it's like actual art, like oil paintings or acrylic paintings or even watercolor paintings. And I was thinking if I could use, of course there's other stuff mixed in there, if I could use an image for a spread, try and keep within a color palette, but use like this as the base or as the inspiration for the spread. I don't know, that's what I was thinking. Another idea I had was, so I went through a bunch of my papers and I thought, what if we do something like grayscale? Make the pages grayscale. I really like that one though, it's not grayscale though. Make the pages grayscale and add maybe a little bit of color somehow, but make the base of the spread grayscale with these big images. Maybe add something with color, you know, I don't know. I think it could look cool, but I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. So yeah, these are some of the grayscale images I have that I was thinking about. So at this point, these are my two ideas. I guess you'll have to find out when I post my new reading journal flip through which direction I went, because even now as I'm talking to you, I still don't know which way I'm gonna go. I might be trial and error once I start like really mapping out the spreads. It might just be trial and error to see like what fits best, or you know, what I have available to me. We will have to see. I guess you and I will both see in the next video what this new reading journal will end up looking like. So yeah, I guess leave in the comments below how do you record your reading? Do you only use an app or something online? Do you use, I've heard of lots of people using like Excel spreadsheets to organize their journals. I don't think that will ever be something I want to do because I find that I already have too much screen time going on in my life. So if I can do anything with my hands physically, I want to do it that way. So yeah, this has been the chat. This has been chatting with you about reading journals. I can't even link all of the reading journals videos that I watched because I watched way too many. So if you just Google or put in the YouTube search reading journal, you'll get a ton of videos if you need some more ideas. So yeah, I guess I will see you in the next video when we both discover what I've decided to go with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!